All right, all right, all right. Hello, all of our friends. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh. I am alongside Jesse Holley. Oh, wait, I'm this guy. And then this is my friend, former Cowboys receiver Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
And this is Bleav in the Dallas Cowboys. And you don't have to believe, it's just the name of the show. You can hate if you want to. I don't care. But it is the day of the NFL draft, and we're going to hit you with the very latest and the things to know and all the things just hours away from picking a player in theory. And this is, of course, brought to you by our friends at BetOnline, betonline.ag, your number one source for all your sports info, stats, news, and scores. You better believe they got props up there on the draft if you want to go check them things out. But, you got the basketball playoffs going on, NHL playoffs going on, UFC, boxing, whatever it is. BetOnline's got you covered. The fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options, your favorite casino and card games. You can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code Bleav, BLEAV, to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hi, Jesse.
What's up, my brother? Draft day.
I think I have good news for you. The smoke in the last 48 hours from the guys who are pretty damn good mock drafters, the guys who kind of do it the best, like Josh Norris at Underdog Fantasy, the most accurate mock draft of all time. He did that not last year, but the year before. Dane Brugler is always very, very good at this. The name to the Cowboys in the mock drafts today is Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. You know what he qualifies as?
A flexi sexer. Yes, sir. Yeah, I might be good at this thing. This might be I might have next year. I'm getting into the draft. That's it. I'm just going to because I'm right. Flexi sexy.
Dalton Kincaid is the best receiver that plays tight end in this draft. He spent about 50% of his time at Utah in either the slot or outside, and about 50% of the time with his hand in the dirt, and he catches all the passes. 35 touchdowns, 4 drops in his career. That is Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, and it is the current most popular name to the Cowboys.
It only makes sense. Like, honestly, I know that we don't want to reach and get an offensive lineman in the first round, but it just makes sense. It makes sense for this Cowboys, for this offense, for this quarterback, for everything that they want to do. I think you solidified yourself with the Brandon Cooks trade and the progression of CeeDee Lamb, right? Because now if I have those two, and if either one of those two dudes got hurt, and you look at the formula to where the league is going, right? This is a copycat league. A lot of times I wish we would copycat more of what people do across the league, but we don't. But whatever. That guy's in LA right now. So hopefully this Mike McCarthy is a guy who doesn't mind copying. But you need that guy. And this is the one place where I think we've kind of patchwork there with guys, with just dudes or just Jags, just another guy. With Schultz was a decent guy, but he kind of almost fell into the Witten late years thing where it wasn't very explosive. And I think Dak, who he is as a quarterback, he's not Aaron Rodgers, he's not Josh Allen, he's not these guys who are going to do this, 400 or 500 yards a game. That's not his game, right? He methodically kind of breaks you down. He takes his shots. But for him to be at his best, he needs that guy across the middle. He needs that underneath. He needs that guy to be his security safety blanket. When you talk about a guy like Kincaid, I know he has the back injuries in college, but this is a guy who can be explosive, who can take the shorter route and make it big. I remember, what was it, against USC? He had a big game against USC, right? Like, I remember him, like, whooping up on USC something serious. And that's what you want. And you want to copy what they do in Kansas City with guys like Travis Kelce. You want that type of energy to come out of your tight end room. So hopefully this is the guy that they draft and they put the pieces together to now you have explosive running back. Because I do think that the injury that Pollard had, he's going to return. You have, I'm excited. I'm mostly CeeDee Lamb in this next stage of his life, like this next maturity stage of his life. life as a receiver. Brandon Cooks is going to help for that, and he's going to do what he does. And then you add in that Dalton Kincaid. Whew. Football horny me.
You want Dalton Kincaid's stat line against USC the first time they played him last year? Utah beat USC twice last year.
Yes.
Like if you think he was doing this against nobodies. The first one, he had 16 catches.
You don't even say anymore. When you go 16 catches, you know the rest of that stat line.
For 234 and a tutty. 16 for 234 and a tutty.
Yeah.
And I was comparing him just for fun because our buddy, the great Dane Brugler, his draft guide makes it so easy to compare guys on a few stats. Yeah, the Beast on The Athletic. You should get that every year. And I was looking at, who was it? I think it was Daniel Jeremiah today, put Musgrave, the Oregon State tight end of the Cowboys, at 26. And he's another sexy flexy, but he also has like 600 career college receiving yards and like 40 career catches, and he's been hurt. And so I was comparing just the basic stats of touchdowns versus drops. And Musgrave has 2 career touchdowns and 9 career drops. Dalton Kincaid has 35 touchdowns and 4 drops in 4 years of playing a bunch, all 4 years. Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I'm not a big-time lover of tight end in the first round, but I recognize that that's one of the 3 or 4 things the Cowboys want to accomplish in this draft. And I will say this. If you don't pick Dalton Kincaid or one of the other 5 or 6 top tight ends in this class, which is a really good tight end class, after that, I don't care because now you're wasting your time. Like, what I don't want is to pick a tight end to add to the tight end room. I don't care. I only want one if he's leading the tight end room, and he is, no doubt about it, better than what I got and upgrades that room. Because if it's 4th, 5th round, you're just throwing a guy in.
Right.
If it's 1st or 2nd round, you're picking a guy to come be flexy, sexy, sex flex, flexy, sexy, sexy, flexy. And I think the smoke seems to be pointing that direction here on day of. So that's kind of fun. And then it's just a matter of how does that look? Do you get the guy you want at 26? Or do we go down to 58 and start talking about which names are there? And there are guys to have there. Tucker Kraft, South Dakota State, Sam Laporta, Iowa. Just depends how these guys come off the board. And then the couple other things that I think they want to do, and then this will not be, let me take that back. I was going to say it won't be today, but I think that they're going to take a 3rd, 4th, 5th round running back. Now, Bijan's there at 26, scrap it all, because I think Jerry's doing it. Jerry's doing it. Who's selling more jerseys, Kincaid or Bijan?
Bijan, without a shadow of Bijan will sell more jerseys. They'll have mustard everywhere. Like literally, the in AT&T Stadium will be Bijan mustard. Dijon, but it will be Bijan mustard. Like that markability, and that's the part that I fear the most, because I do not want Bijan to be there. Because if he is, Jerry will have no choice for the marketing purposes. Went to Texas, has a good name. It would be, and then now your offense changed again, because Jerry's not going to draft this guy that high and be like, oh, we're going to go this way. No, Jerry's going to be like, hey, get him the football. And that's not a bad thing because he's really good with the football in his hands. I just hope that he isn't there so that the Cowboys have to make that selection.
40 carries a game, baby.
Yeah.
I want 20 for Pollard and 20 for Bijan. Hey, if you can run block, go ahead. Here's the one thing I would say about Bijan is, first of all, I think he's the best running back I've ever scouted. And I still, at 26, I'd be like, yeah, okay. The only thing that is appealing about that is that Tony Pollard's on the franchise tag. And once that tag is up, there went $10 million that I'm no longer spending on running back. And the guy picked at 26 is making like what, $3-4 million a year, give or take. And if you're paying a great running back that for 4 or 5 years, okay, that's cool. I don't love him in the first round, but I love having a premier talent at the position that's still relatively cheap. So if Bijan's available and they end up picking him, so be it. I don't think he'll be available, so I don't think we have to worry about it. I think there's a possibility he goes 8. There's a possibility he goes 10. There's a possibility that maybe one of the latest spots, like 21, because I think the Chargers would take him and then trade Austin Eckler and be like, fine, we'll be as good or better at running back and we'll stay cheap like we were with you. So I don't think I have to worry about that. And then the only other thing I really got my eyes on is I want to upgrade the defensive tackle spot, but I don't know if they would be willing to with the guy that I want to do it with. Because do you picture the Cowboys as a team that would take a light, short arm tackle?
You're going with the Pittsburgh kid. I knew it. I knew it. I know you're going with the Pittsburgh kid.
Did you see Baldy's breakdown? Baldy knows what he's talking about. Baldy's smart like me. I want a defensive interior dude that will get in the backfield. It is Kalijah Kancey, and I bet they wouldn't take him anyway.
But see, it's always that fear of, Jay-Z had a line that says, if you say you made Hove, okay, so make another Hove. People are trying to sometimes think, oh, Pittsburgh, small, undersized, short arms. Oh, that's another. That's another Aaron Donald.
No.
Don't put that pressure on that kid.
I'm not.
Don't get out of that mold of because he went to Pitt and he's undersized and he has small arms and he's athletic. Oh, we have the next 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, future Hall of Fame, Aaron Donald on our hands.
No.
That is setting yourself up for a tremendous amount of disappointment.
Nope. I would have a quick, explosive, powerful defensive tackle that offensive linemen can't stay in front of. That's what I would have. I'm not putting names on it. I'm not putting awards on it.
But isn't this is the evolution of how the football world happens, right? As guys begin to get more athletic on one side of the ball, then you start to train other guys to match that athleticism. So it's not like when Aaron Donald first broke into the league being small and undersized, what you had the big, bulky maulers, right? And he was able to use he has absurd strength and elite quickness. And so he was able to work through that. But what you have now is you have offensive linemen over the last 10 years who begin to work themselves into a place of, yes, I have to be able to anchor down and be strong, but I have to be really, really nimble on the inside. That used to only be a tackle thing. It used to only be a dancing bear on the outside. Now those guys on the inside have figured out that we have to get more quicker. We have to get more athletic. We have to get more agile because the guys like Aaron Donald and the Aaron Donald likes of the worlds and the Chris Joneses of the worlds are coming now with the shift to be able to match that. So it isn't an advantage anymore, so to speak, because the guards and the centers are now making themselves a little bit more athletic to kind of combat what those defensive tackles are doing, like the kid out of Pittsburgh.
He's gonna whoop them all. You know what? Let me rephrase. Aaron Donald whoops them all. He's gonna whoop some of them. I just want Micah Parsons to have a little help. I don't want him to be he beats the offensive tackle 900 times, and every time the quarterback's like, that's no problem because I'll just slide 5 yards forward because there is no pressure in front of me. I'm looking for a little help. And maybe I can find that later. But I mean, that's the primer. That's the smoke that's out there today. I think over the next 3 days, I'm really confident that the Cowboys want to pick a tight end in the first 3 rounds, and they're not afraid to do it in the first. I'm really confident that in the first 3 or 4 rounds, they want a running back. And then I'm real confident that I want them to find a starting caliber offensive lineman.
Absolutely.
Because of the inevitable that we know is on the way and to be ready for the next 5 years. So that's what I want. And I have other things I want. If I can find a way to snug another wide receiver in there, that could be my 4th best for sure, and maybe challenge Gallup. That's great. If I could find
if that
outside corner,
if that receiver is not, I don't want him. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not.
That's fine. I do. I want Marvin Mims.
I'm not size shaming, but I'm good. I'm good on the shorties. I'm good.
You want Jonathan? Jesse wants Jonathan Mingo, Ole Miss, or Cedric Tillman, Tennessee. Jeff wants Marvin Mims, Oklahoma. We're not going to be big. We're going to be fast as hell. We're going to run is what we're going to do.
That's the difference between your sex life and my sex life. You want to be quick. I want to be big.
Well, yeah, it's not what I want to be. It's the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
It's to me, it's 100. To me, it's 100-yard dash. Don't blame me because I'm
couldn't keep up.
Like, you need to work on you. All right, that's the end. That's how we're going to end it because that's offensive as hell. And I got radio duties coming up. I love you, Jesse. Good to see you, bud.
Brother. Happy draft.
This presentation brought to you by our friends at Bet Online. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.